John Frag, your thoughts about the Kenobi show? Okay, so I think you guys probably saw it, but I did reviews every single time with Gold Wolf. We did reviews on every single episode of Kenobi, the shows, when it was coming out every so often. I think for me, I didn't watch it again yet, but I'm going to rewatch it again pretty soon just to kind of like try it out again, see how it is. The show for me, and I've said this before in a lot of live streams, is that the Kenobi show feels like it was a movie that they were like, okay, let's take this movie. We have Disney Plus. Let's take it. Let's stretch it out. I said it almost every stream, but that's what they did, and it feels that way. But I'm wondering if the Kenobi show is actually better now, since you can watch the whole thing in one go. Like there are some shows that are just better when you can binge them. I mean, I get like the whole like they have to do like release once every week, because then you can get a couple different more. You can get like a few more months of subscribers out of people if you do that. That's why they do that. But now that you can binge watch shows, like I think that like Stranger Things is really good because I can watch the whole thing in one time, or not just one sitting, but you know what I mean? Like I can watch like 2 or 3 episodes here, next day watch the next 2 or 3 episodes, next day watch the next 2 or 3 episodes, or you could binge watch the whole season if you wanted to. That's a lot of time, but you could do that. Some shows just wouldn't work as well. Like there's a show called Orange is the New Black. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but it was pretty decent when it was on. Earlier seasons were better. Later seasons got a little rough. But I think like the show as a whole was it was good because you could watch it one after the other. But as soon as you were to take that show and you'd have to split it up by week and give it a week break and let people kind of have the time to kind of dive into the story and realize the faults, like that wasn't good for the Kenobi show. You know what I mean? Like it needed to be able to watch all at once. So the whole Disney Plus thing, I don't really know what Disney is doing with it. I don't understand why they aren't just releasing it all in one big form. Because like I mentioned with other platforms, you know, like Netflix and Hulu, like they might do like an episode a week because they're trying to keep your subscription for 2 months. So like for instance, like if there's a 10 episode series, if they release one a week, that's effectively 3 months they just got out of you from subscriptions. But when it comes to Disney Plus, like everyone already has a Disney Plus, right? Like no one doesn't have one, right? Like so everyone already has a Disney Plus subscription. And people aren't going to just get rid of it, right? It's one of those things where like they have something new coming out every month anyways. So there's always something to watch, and someone might unsubscribe for a month and then come back, but why would I unsubscribe for 1 month just to come back another month later when I just keep it on there? I think Disney thinks it knows what it's doing there, but it doesn't. I honestly think that Kenobi would have been better as a movie. Like, let's be honest. I think Kenobi should have just been one movie. It should have been the original movie it was going to be. But Kenobi's biggest hindrance was the fact that one episode released, everyone said, oh, that was okay, I guess, right? Was it okay? Well, actually, you know, that you mention it, it's kind of rough. I don't know if okay, well, I guess we'll just watch the next one. And the next one comes out, oh, you know, it's pretty good, right? Oh, wait, no. Well, I mean, it was okay. Yeah. I guess it was okay. Let's watch the next one. We'll figure it out. That's how it kept going. Like people, it didn't make any sense for like why Disney's whole brand is going to be put around that, right? Like, so why would you do the weekly releases if you're going to make shows that can be easily picked apart until the next episode? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Honestly, if you're doing this series, just put it out all at once. Give me a series a month. There you go. Give us a series a month, put it out, let us binge it. I think a lot of shows they've done so far would be a lot better received if they could have done that. Like I said, the majority of the Star Wars TV shows, in my opinion, would be better if they just released the entire series or the entire season at once. I think that a lot of the Marvel shows, especially like, you know, the Falcon the Winter Soldier, which was another one of those Disney Plus shows that felt like it was a movie initially that they broke into a TV show. I think WandaVision was fine, and like Moon Knight, Loki, those were okay, but like Miss Marvel I think would have worked better as a movie. I think She-Hulk would actually work better too if it was just like released all at the same time. I think people would respect it more if it did that, even though people really don't like it. I think people would respect it more if it just was like, hey, here's the entire story, no bull crap. There you go. That's Disney thinking that's the right call. But I think that they're going to eventually realize this, I think. I think they realized, like, that was one of the biggest things about Netflix back when Netflix was, like, in its heyday, before there was all these other streaming services, was that, where, like, other small streaming services or other cable networks, they'd make you wait a week every time. So you'd come back, get their ratings, get their money off the ad revenue. That's what they do. Disney doesn't have to do that anymore. You know, I think like they have enough of a catalog of Disney Plus that you wouldn't need to unsubscribe from there. There's no reason to. So, I don't understand it. I mean, like, I understand why they would think they need to do it. I just think like it's time to move on, release the whole series as a whole. Looking back on Kenobi series, I would say this. I think we'd all look at it more fonder if we could watch the entire show in like 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2, 3 days, whatever, or all at once if you wanted to binge it. Watch it all like pretty much all together instead of giving 6 weeks to watch it. That's just too much time for people to look at things, pick it apart, break it apart, pull it down, and ultimately realize the faults of the show. I think that the show would have worked better as a complete package. If it couldn't be a movie. If it couldn't be a movie, Kenobi should have been released all at the same time. I think that would have been a better situation altogether. And like I said, Kenobi would have been perceived better. So like I said, that's my opinion. How do you guys feel about that? Do you like the shows giving you a week to kind of sit on things, or would you like to have your shows instantly all together? That's a good question, because I'm sure there are some people out there who like, I wanna slowly be fed, you know, this story. You know, I don't want to like get it all at once. I wanna get it. I want to give it a week to kind of let it all soak in. Get another one. Give it another week. I understand that there are some shows where you can do that, and then there are other shows, like I mentioned, Kenobi, and the majority of the Marvel ones, where it's like, no, give it all to me at once. Like, let me have it all. Let me just binge the whole thing if I want. Because some shows are just not meant to do the weekly cycle anymore. It's the way it is. Like House of Dragons, I think, can get away with the weekly cycle. Lord of the Rings can get away with the weekly cycle. The stories they're telling allow that. But if you're going off of something like Kenobi needed to be like, I needed to watch the next chapter right after the other one, you know? So, like I said, this is kind of a little bit of a tangent I went on with this, but overall, I liked the show. I can't say I hate it. I can't say it's great though. You know what I mean? Like, I was entertained. Looking back on it, I'm entertained. But like I said, I think once I binge the whole show, like a span of 2 days, I'm going to look back and think of this show more fondly. But because of how the show was released in the first place, and the fact that the characters were kind of back and forth, and they introduced some people, and it's like, oh, this is cool, and then like the character didn't really do anything, and then you got the occasional like conflict that like ends in a second. It's like, it's rough, but like I said, it's rough because I had time to reflect on it. So maybe if I watch it all at one time, I'll look back on it and I'll go, you know what, this show is a lot better than I remember. But who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer the like a show that would come out all together, released all at one day, or do you like the sprinkled out throughout the weeks? Let me know in the comments below.